And so, as of the 24th of May 2023, The Flash aired its Season 9, Episode 13, its final episode, A New World Part 4. And as a result of this, the Arrowverse as a TV concept is now over. And long-time viewers of my channel will know how much I personally love the Arrowverse, as I counted the entire Arrowverse pretty much as my third favourite TV show of all time. I mean, it is just one of those things that I've just grown up with over the past 10 years, over 10 years, and while I was a little late joining the party, I really came to like the Arrowverse. Now, in terms of each of the endings that we got, on the 28th of January 2020, we got the 10th and last episode of Arrow. It's Season 8, Episode 10, Fade Out. Supergirl got Season 6, Episode 20, Kara, on the 9th of November 2021. Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow both rounded off their 3rd and 7th seasons, respectively, on the 2nd of March 2022, with Are We Having Fun Yet? And Knocked Down, Knocked Up. And the last one that I think really kind of mattered truly is The Flash, which of course had Season 9, Episode 13, A New World Part 4, on the 24th of May 2023. Now, the final particular episode of the Arrowverse, i.e. The Flash, had, of course, them facing off against the new villain of Cobalt Blue, played once again by Rick Cosnett, who was kind of returning for the final season to reprise his role of Eddie Thawne, as a version of Eddie Thawne who's kind of bitter that Barry and Iris eventually ended up together and wanting to know why he can't have these things and try and fix his own life. In turn, recruiting the likes of several big Arrowverse villains, or big Flash villains, namely the Reverse Flash, Zoom, Savitar, and Godspeed. Those also show the members of Team Flash finally working together to try and bring the villains down, and ultimately try and find a way to live happily with each other, which include the birth of Barry and Iris' daughter, Nora, who does play a part in the finale, but is ultimately now born into the present day where she can grow up with her parents. It does also show Joe and Cecile finally kind of getting together and getting engaged, and Team Flash trying to find a way to get through it. Now, are there things that I do wish popped up in the kind of finale to the Arrowverse or the finale to the Flash? Of course I do. I mean, given the fact that we got Grant Gustin here, as well as Danielle Panabaker made it to the end, so did Jesse L. Martin, and technically Tom Cavanagh as well. It would have been nice if we could have had Carlos Valdez back for the final episode, but hey, maybe he was busy. And it would have been nice to see Cisco show up, but then again, that's just a wish list. And I do ultimately like the way that they chose to end The Flash and ultimately end the Arrowverse as a whole. I mean, I think it would have been very easy for them to go with the main character finally dies. I mean, that's what they ultimately did with Arrow. Kind of, in the last few episodes, Oliver dies, and that was fair enough. He was the kind of hero who started everything off. He was the one who we ultimately grew to like. So to see him die as a mentor, that worked. I mean, they did undo it a little bit in the final season of The Flash in that Oliver came back briefly, which, I don't know how I feel about that one, but I kind of feel like it probably would have been okay, it just would have been a bit too obvious, but I do like the way that they ultimately ended up. I managed to convince the villain that he doesn't have to be a villain, and, that's a nice touch. And also the way they properly ended the series, which is that Barry and Iris do end up giving birth to their child Nora, but at the same time Iris convinces Barry that the lightning bolt that struck him over 9 years ago, he can now be the lightning bolt and choose other people. And I do like it that they were able to use that to kind of introduce characters who they hadn't gotten a chance to use in the series, with Barry sending out a lightning bolt to choose 3 new speedsters, those being Avery Ho, Max Mercury, and Jesse Chambers, which I do think is a nice touch. I mean, it's an ending, but at the same time, it's not an ending. It's kind of indicating that there were more adventures to be had, but we're okay not seeing them. I mean, to look at this from a Sheldon Cooper viewpoint, every show, they have to help the viewers let go, and with a lot of these, I feel with a lot of these shows, they didn't really need that much of following. We didn't need our hands held. I mean, Arrow did their final season quite somberly. Supergirl's ending I felt was okay. The only Arrowverse ending that I do actually think was possibly a little bit disappointing was Legends of Tomorrow, but that one was mainly set up as it looked like they were going to get an 8th season, but then were cancelled. At least that's what it looked like, with the Legends getting arrested. But knowing that there are more adventures to be had, yeah, I think more adventures going on off the screen. I mean, they did actually bring out a series of books as well based on Arrowverse characters that they never got to use. Characters like Johnny Quick and the Tornado Twins. Those were pretty cool to see. But at the same time, do we really need a follow-up to this? Probably not. But at the same time, it probably would be cool to see. I mean, as Sheldon Cooper pointed out in The Big Bang Theory, to help the viewers let go. I mean, Firefly did a movie to wrap things up. Buffy the Vampire Slayer continued on as a comic book. Heroes gradually lowered the quality season by season. We were grateful it ended. In terms of an Arrowverse movie or the like, I don't really think we really need one. And hell, we're actually getting a Flash movie later this year. It's due to come out over the summer with, of course, Ezra Miller, Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, Sasha Calle, and Kiersey Clemons. So, yeah, we're already getting a Flash movie coming out over the summer, so we probably didn't need that. And in terms of the Arrowverse, they never actually did many tie-in comics. I mean, I think the only series that actually got a proper kind of tie-in comic was Arrow itself. Like, I do remember at one point I went looking to see if there was a tie-in comic for the Flash series, and there wasn't. I mean, it would kind of be cool to see, now that the Arrowverse has ended, a proper kind of Arrowverse or a comic series based on these characters. But then again, these were TV shows actually based on comics, so you could argue they already had one anyway. I mean, I think it would have been cool to see one for The Flash. I think the one that I would have really liked to have read, kind of, had they actually released the time code for, would be Legends of Tomorrow, just to be able to see that kind of action on splash panels. I think that would have been really cool. But whatever the outcome, the Arrowverse, I think, is still my third favourite TV show of all time, after Buffy and Doctor Who. But I think it will remain that way for a long time. I mean, I've got a lot of great shows on my list, and I think the Arrowverse deserved to be up there. It ran for something like over 11 years, and it gave us a good time. Anyway, what's your favourite Arrowverse show, or what was your favourite episode? Let me know down below. Anyway, until next time, see ya.